Who is ready to make some science?
Hey everybody, it's me, DeoGenZ, coming at you with my Pokemon Stars predictions. And in this episode, I want to talk about some comments we got last episode to see what you guys think about these suggestions from these fine viewers. First up, Angry Anime Fan 2 was thinking about a bunch of different variations you could see on some familiar Pokemon, and I think they're really cool. Wanted to highlight that, Machamp especially. Be interesting if it got like a surfboard or was a lifeguard, web fingers, and the like. And then, of course, we have this comment here, and very interesting to think if Pokemon Stars is not, in fact, the third game in the Sun Moon kind of trilogy series that they end up doing. Would it be a unique game on its own? And that would need different Pokemon. So in this episode, let's talk about a new evolution instead of a new Alola form, because I never really considered what if Stars was a completely different thing from Sun and Moon. I just figured Sun, Moon, Stars, oh, maybe we're going to space! But, this Carnivine has been around since the 4th gen, and it's been a while since anything has happened to it to make it any competitively viable player. And again, I think we should go with the exclusive feminine form of the Alola region and make it have an evolution where only the female Carnivines, it has been found, in tropical areas have the ability to use Levitate and a Psychic Surge, which I think would be cool as another possibility to set up the psychic terrain. So that's a cool thing. I thought perhaps we could do more new evolutions, but to go back to the Alola forms, what if, keeping consistent with the feminine form, maybe the theme for this episode, we could have a new version of Sawk and Throw, and change up their abilities just a bit. I think if you wanted to see Sawk be appearing in higher tiers of competitive play, you'd want to include Moxie onto its Alola form. And for Throw's Alolan female counterpart, we can keep consistent with the original character design in that Sawk was thin and nimble and Throw was bulky, but just change up the abilities a little bit here with the Iron Fist and such. So I want them to stay a pure fighting type, just because that's kind of what these Pokemon to me represent, was the purest forms of their fighting style. So let me know below if you think that maybe they should get a dual typing in the Alola region, but I don't think that a Alola form necessarily facilitates a new typing. It could sometimes just be the change of the morphology, the body of the Pokemon changes, and then they get some new abilities. That's usually what happens, but the type change doesn't necessarily need to follow that. But one Pokemon that I do think would benefit from a type shifting could be Clauncher. Now, taking a look at its character design, you say, well, it's only a water type, but it starts out as just a water type. Wait till you see what it evolves into. Still has the Mega Launcher since it's such a solid ability. But look at that character design. What do you predict? You think it's going to be an ice type? You think it's going to be... Wouldn't it be interesting if there was a dual type that was water type? Just a quick side note, like water. I mean, then that would be like a quad effective stab move. So I don't think the Nintendo company would, or the Pokemon company, any of the companies that make the games would actually make such a broken kind of typing. But what this thing evolves into, Clawtizer, is a water steel type, and that thing looks so badass. Again, still could have Mega Launcher, but based on its redesigned cannon hand claw, it could also have Skill Link because it's got those multi-chambered rounds for rapid fire with that awesome, almost steampunk looking mechanical wheel turning the Skill Link on. I think the new dual typing of Water Steel would make this Pokemon awesome. I could see the argument for Water Ice, but I decided to retype it as Water Steel since it's just not that many Water Steels in metagame. None that I could even think of, really. And there's Lapras, there's a myriad of different water ice Pokemon that we can find out there. So I feel like the steel typing would lend it some more resistances. So that's been 5 potential remakes of some familiar forms of Pokemon we've seen in the past. And if you think about the ones I've brought up, they could be due for a remake. And I know Clauncher and Clawtizer are fairly new. But hey, it wouldn't hurt to see an Alolan form and some new evolutions in Pokemon Stars. And if you want more information on the artists who developed all these forms that we're looking at today, head on over to Locomotive 111's DeviantArt. They're doing all sorts of different Pokemon remakes for their exclusive region. And speaking of regions, comment below. Do you think that Pokemon Stars is going to take place even in the Alola region? Or maybe on some adjacent islands? Or maybe it's a remake? Let me know in the comments below what you think. I've been DeoGenZ, and hey, if you enjoy this content especially, consider supporting me on Patreon, where I do shiny giveaways and battle tournaments for all my patrons. See you in the future.